In 1974, Lorain's Hispanic community faced significant challenges. Language barriers, lack of access to social services, and limited representation meant many families had nowhere to turn except their local churches. But a group of young leaders had a vision.
Being a product of the community and being a product of Sacred Heart Chapel, we were greatly influenced by the Trinitarian priests and nuns who founded Sacred Heart Chapel. The pastor in the early 70s was Father Robert Ward. He used to go by Father Bruce Ward. Father Bruce got into the Lorain County Board of Mental Health. So he starts recruiting and talking to us, who were the young bucks at that time with all kinds of great ideas, and we wanted to change the world, and about the needs of our Hispanic community.
And we thought that we could have an agency that could specialize in prevention and in educational services that would provide services to the community to become active in the community beyond the Latino community of South Lorain.
And one day he said, the Board of Mental Health is having this meeting at a community action office on 28th Street by Elaria Avenue. We need to pack that place, because at that time we already started talking about services to the Hispanic Latino community. So, of course, you know, he invites St. Vincent de Paul and the Holy Name Society and some of those young people, and there had to be over 40 people that showed up for that meeting. So the, leadership was kind of impressed. The Board of Mental Health was established back in 1967, and Nathaniel James was the executive director. African-American, progressive, and his main job was to develop a network of services, mental health services. And I remember by the time Centro got funded, there had to be a good dozen organizations receiving money from the Board of Mental Health. So we were like Johnny come lately, but we got our share. And during the process, Father Bruce knew this attorney from Cleveland, Daniel Stringer, who passed away 2 years ago. May he rest in peace. And so he became part of our little collaboration. And he's the one that helped us incorporate. Okay? And according to the records, that in November 1974, was it, that we were incorporated because of the efforts of both clergy, political leaders, and the Hispanic community, and some young people that were looking for change.
The first budget that we had was for $18,000 in 1974. We opened up a Centro.
And then Rocky was our first director. And we started off with the director, me, a nurse, and a psychologist, which was Father Gabe. And we had an outreach worker, Bruni Alvarado. And I think we hired 2 other outreach workers after that. And we were just on a little storefront.
We started, we collected books from, and made a library out of Lawson's store, this Sacred Heart. And from 6 to 8, we would be there and have a table designated to first, second, third, all the way through 6th grade, and have a study hall so that if children needed help for their homework, sometimes the parents didn't read English. So we will be available to teach them.
Looking at it as an opportunity not only to engage in the community, to build up the Hispanic community, not only with regards to socially, but even more importantly, politically.
The most controversial is what I'm most proud of was that we did go to help people with the issue of police, specifically issues of abuse and use of excessive force. And there were 2 cases we went to court, and we won both court cases, which resulted in change in police practices.
We learned how to play the politics of engaging with levies, whether it be regenerations of dollars for the city, but more importantly, levies for the county, whether it be social services, whether it be human services, whether it be mental health services.
I kept hearing about El Centro, but I did not know about El Centro. And so I ended up coming to a couple of the meetings that they had and then realized that they were the heart of the city of Lorain County.
I always say that one of my exciting things that I was able to put together during that time was bringing along Michael Ferrer. I was the one that interviewed him and brought him as my executive director. I saw in him a passion for youth that was so refreshing.
And then Nelson gave me a bit of news once I quit my other job, took this job, and Nelson goes, oh, by the way, man, I think I only got enough money for about 3 months. And I go like, okay, you know, wow. So I went over to what was known as the Workforce Development Agency, still known as that. And they have a summer program in which they provide jobs for young people that are between the ages of 16 to 24. So in my desperate way, I'm an animated kind of guy, I went over there and I said, you know, I want to put together this program. It is an employment training program through theater. And he goes, what? Through theater. I said, through theater. So kids will be talking about their lives, coming up with scenes. They'll be working on their math by building the set. They'll be working on their reading and writing by writing parts of the play. Every morning they'll be trying out for parts, so there's their public communication. I said, but I only want the kids that you don't want.
We grew a youth program that really became a model for in this area, and continues to be, as I see right now, that youth leadership continues to be a main program of El Centro Social Services.
I just want the ones that have failed in your program, the ones that are making all your data look bad on a national level. And after that, they just say, well, you know, how much do you need? I said, well, probably to start. I don't know. This is new, but I'm determined to do this, and I've got the right partners. And I'm thinking about 60, 70,000, but I'll put together a budget. And I didn't even finish. He goes, we'll give you $100,000. Go ahead. The workforce development. I was in shock, you know. So when I named it STEP.
Okay, what is that?
Summer Theater Enrichment Project, but it might step in the right direction.
So that was very, very exciting, because that also led to the development of the our economic workforce program for youth, that also allowed for the flourishing of our summer theater enrichment program, which was really the key to leadership and allowing youth to become willing to engage themselves in a way that they can become the leaders of tomorrow.
I went out to talk to 2 gangs, the Latin Kings and the MOB, okay? Because they were 2, and I'm pretty sure those were the names, but they were 2 rival gangs. And I went and just asked, I mean, I had in my hand, you know, I went and said, listen, I have a youth center over there. If you allow your young people, you know, to come to the youth center, and I'm going to ask another gang to send their kids to the youth center, and we're going to run a theater program,
And they're going to be able to tell their stories in the community, and we'll get a theatrical venue, and we will educate the community as to what they see in their neighborhoods. 3 days before we were going into the production, the newspapers came out with a story. And the story said, "Violence expected at El Centro production," okay? Because they found that they were two gangs, okay? And they said, you know, violence expected, and you know, please be cautious and all that. But the good part was that the prosecutor and judges that I had worked with, because they sent these kids to the program, the good part is they said, "How can we help, Mike?" And I said, "You know what? You can trust. You bring your family, Mr. Prosecutor, Mr. Judge, you bring your family to the production." And they, damn if they didn't, they brought them. 3 judges, their entire families, the prosecutor, his family.
Seeing people develop and families grow and become stronger, seeing seniors becoming more engaged and getting out of their homes and coming into a center and begin to once again feel life, to see youth all of a sudden saying, "Hey, listen, we're a voice. Yes, we have our challenges, but we are a voice and we want to be part of the answer and the solution, not the problems." And to see these youth become so creative in the way that they express their existence and their lives, but also telling us that they still want to be part of the community. And that was beautiful, to be able to see these kids grow, and all of a sudden seeing some of them going on to college and even graduating.
In the 1990s, Nelson Ramirez brought in Cristel Yvonne Liado, an experienced psychiatric social worker, who at that time was working with the North Community Health Center.
When I was at the North Center, some of my patients there were Spanish speaking because I was a bilingual counselor. I took a job at El Centro to develop the family violence prevention program. I decided to go outside of the county, and we started reaching out to the state at the state level. And then I approached other directors from other Hispanic agencies, and we started a collaboration team with Toledo, Youngstown, and Cleveland. I never worked alone. It was a group effort. It was a lot of collaboration. I had people inside, great staff, and outside, other leaders in the community. Worked very closely with El Centro and was very committed for El Centro to continue the impact in the community. When I started El Centro, we had maybe 12 staff members. I think when I left, there were like 38 or 40. You know, the agency has grown because we receive more fundings, and the funding results in, you know, more staffing and more programs. One board member wanted to know my opinion about Victor, and I knew him. He was a board member. I recruited him to be a board member because I had met him working at community college, and he was a great person. So a board member had contacted me, and I gave them thumbs up.
I started in 2004. 2007, we started talking about capital campaign. We hired somebody to do a feasibility study, and that feasibility study said that we were going to be able to raise maybe $300,000 because I was new in the community. I didn't have experience in capital campaign, the agency, the size of the agency, and we needed 1.5 million.
One of the biggest surprises that helped us with the capital campaign was when we had an appropriations of $600,000 from Sherrod Brown. So that elevated our campaign. And then also the first contributor to our capital campaign was Nord Family Foundation. They gave us $75,000 because anytime you go knocking on the door, okay, how much have you raised? And so it's always very important that you get that one entity to support you, and then the rest will follow, and that's what happened.
And we raised 1.5 million to move to this point. The vision that I have in regards to not only moving to their Centro, and a lot of other directors were asking me about that. What is the big deal about this capital campaign? It's not about the capital campaign, it's about the vision that we have for South Lorain in regards to partnership, bringing other organizations to provide services to our community. So I think that was a moment where we moved here that other nonprofits, other leaders, and everybody thought like, whoa, the leadership of El Centro is serious and they are determined to make it happen.
This building here is a monument, if you will, a memorial of what can be done, and that there is talent, deep talent here in this city that could be drawn to move not only our community, but the community of Lorain County in general forward.
We had a slogan when we first started our capital campaign, and it was, "Our future begins today." And that is still, to me, so true. And the future is every day. Every day is our future.
We all want to be able to grow, but we also all want to be able to contribute. And this organization has given many of us that opportunity to do that, to grow and to give back and to hopefully inspire others to want to do the same for the community.
I said, man, 50 years. Like, can you believe it? It was just an idea, and 50 years later, it's still going.
I think what we need to highlight are all the blessings and gifts that the Hispanic community has brought to the table. Gifts that benefited our people, the Hispanic Latino community, but also the community at large.
It's a trustworthy organization. People trust. When they come into those doors, they know that they're going to be taken care of.
I think that we need to all come together as a community, always, in whatever community, to whatever community you belong, you define as your community, and see, is there any way that we can make things better than what they are now?
We're going to be here for another 50 years, and I just congratulate Victor, El Centro, the staff, the board, for an incredible milestone of 50 years.
Be true to El Centro, what it was always do. Don't ever give up on the young people.
I really feel as a person, as an agency, that we've been blessed with the support of the community, from the community of the partners, the foundations, and I have always feel blessed also with the staff that we have through the last 20 years. Like, we always have found staff that has been so committed to El Centro and to the mission of serving the community, that they give everything that they have and even more.